This right here is probably the best traditional dark ride in America, and that is none other than the Haunted Mansion at Knoebels. This is a classic dark ride that opened in 1973 as part of the comeback process of the park back in the 70s, and we're going to talk about its history and its influence here at the park in this video right here. The year before this ride existed, Hurricane Agnes came to Pennsylvania and destroyed almost the entirety of Knoebels, leaving just scraps of rides and benches being thrown around by fierce floodwaters. And many people thought this washed the park away to history, as it was closed for a long time after the flood due to its major damage. But they weren't quite done, as they wanted a major comeback, and between Christmas and New Year's of 1972 and 73, they started a building process of a brand new attraction, not knowing if they were going to make a roller skating rink or a dark ride, as the roof they had, a dome roof, came from a roller skating rink in Shamokin, Pennsylvania, a nearby town, and there was thought of turning that into a dark ride. But the final decision was that they were going to make a dark ride, and they would keep the roller skating rink where it was. And Dick Knoebels said this in the DVD documenting this ride. I think they made the right decision. The ride was initially supposed to open on May 30th, 1973, but a birth in the Knoebel family led to the opening on June 30th. And the weird thing was they were going to open it at different parts of the day, but it didn't actually open until about 7 o'clock at night, when the park was already almost closing for the day. They opened it up, and it welcomed its first riders in, and that's where it stands today. As far as I know, I don't think any of the original props are actually inside the ride. Like, I'm sure, like, the original style is still in there, but definitely none of the original props. I'm sure they've been replaced or, and obviously things have been removed at other points. But if there are any original props in there, drop a comment down below. I sure appreciate you guys' feedback. I try to make these as accurate as possible, but sometimes I do slip up here and there. So just comment on the video if you want. It really helps me out. Care is really well given to this ride in the off-season. During the off-season, they lock the doors up, and all the cars go inside the ride to make sure they are kept out of the elements to prevent damage. And during the off-season, they always try to create new custom-made props and new horror to add into the ride for the next season. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware about the audio that is heard from outside. I don't really know exactly where you hear it, but it's definitely evident that you hear like wolves howling and an owl hooting in the audio clips of the outside. And I remember, I just want to go on a little memory lane trip here. I used to be terrified of those sounds. I didn't want to go in at all. We couldn't stay within 50 feet of it because I would just be freaked out by the noises. It was a huge pain during the day and gave me horrible nightmares at night. I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. Me being really scared of the noises, and looking back on it, it's just a good laugh to get out of it, because after riding it in 2019, I was like, I'm not going on this again. After seeing the Welcomer and the Wizard, I shut my eyes and plugged my ears, and that was it for the rest of the ride. I came out shaking. I was never going to go in there again. But then about a year later, I went back in, and I liked it. So leading up to here, it's one of my favorite rides in the park. And it's weird because at one point I used to hate it. Just a little memory lane thing I wanted to share with you guys. Have you guys have any major memories with this ride? Drop a comment down below if you have. One thing I do want to mention before we continue on is if you guys want to see more of these voiceover videos for a second part, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel right now if you guys want to see more. That way you'll never miss when a new video comes out if you hit the little bell next to subscribe. So that's just something I wanted to point out, but let's continue. I admire the appearance of this ride, mainly because it's not like over-the-top scary looking, like Trimper's Haunted House in Ocean City, Maryland. It's kind of like a normal house, trying to keep things classic, not trying to go over the top, and that's really the biggest thing. And probably the most popular room inside that ride is the skull room. It's that room with the floating skulls and the Michael Myers music, the same music I used in my intro for this video. It's just a bunch of skulls under black light floating around on strings, some of them spinning. So, with that, the ride tries to keep things classic. They don't want to change things too much because they know, the park knows what their guests like. They know what is needed and what is not needed in the ride and everything else throughout the park. This park strives on making everyone happy, and after the new skull room was brought back in 2023, most of that led up to where we are today. Alright guys, so that will officially do it for the first season of Winter Chats. 12 episodes, not too bad, but I'm going to start getting myself ready for the baseball season, as I will be doing voiceovers on post-game recaps for every Phillies game this season, whether it's a win or loss. This will add up to over 200 videos by the end of the MLB season, on top of many other videos that I'm planning to do for the rest of this spring and heading into the summer. Knoebels Haunted Mansion will always remain one of the best traditional dark rides around. There's no shooting or CGI. It's all old props, custom props, classic jump scares, and it's not overly scary either. They try to keep things fun for everyone, as I say. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning into the first season of Winter Chats and this video. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video.